The Galactic Decree. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Conclave hummed with tension. Representatives from 1,000 worlds filled the vast, dome-shaped room, their varied forms a testament to the diversity of life in the Milky Way. At the center, atop a raised dais, stood High Arbiter Zorn, his crystalline body refracting the light of distant stars that shone through the transparent ceiling. Order. Zorn's resonant voice echoed through the chamber, silencing the murmurs and whispers. We face a crisis that threatens the very fabric of our galactic community. The Arcturus conflict between the Volux Imperium and the Centauri Collective has escalated beyond our worst fears. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing the spreading chaos across a spiral arm of the galaxy. Entire star systems pulsed an angry red, indicating active war zones. In the third row of the assembly, Commander Sarah Chen of Earth's Diplomatic Corps straightened in her seat. This was the moment she had been dreading since the emergency session was called. Humanity, still newcomers to the galactic stage, had hoped to remain neutral in a growing conflict. But as the violence spread closer to Earth's fledgling colonies in the Outer Rim, that hope had faded. Zorn's multifaceted eyes swept across the gathering. We must contain this war before it engulfs us all. The Conclave has deliberated, and we have reached a decision. Sarah felt a bead of sweat trickle down her spine. The fate of humanity's interstellar ambitions hung in the balance. All non-involved species are hereby ordered to maintain strict neutrality, Zorn declared. Any intervention, no matter how well-intentioned, will be seen as an act of aggression against the Galactic Conclave itself. A chorus of protests erupted from various delegations. Sarah remained silent, her mind racing. Earth's outer colonies lay directly in the path of the expanding conflict. Without support, they would be defenseless. Silence. Zorn's voice boomed, amplified by the chamber's acoustics. This decree is final. To ensure compliance, travel restrictions will be imposed on all neutral parties. You are to recall your citizens from contested regions immediately. Sarah couldn't contain herself any longer. She stood, her voice clear and steady. High Arbiter, Earth respectfully requests an exception. Our colonies in the Outer Rim are expendable in the face of galactic stability. Zorn cut her off. Humans, you are especially ordered to stay clear of this war. Your species' propensity for unpredictable actions makes you a wild card we cannot afford in this delicate situation. The dismissal stung, but Sarah maintained her composure. We understand the Conclave's concerns, but surely there must be a way to protect innocent lives without. The Conclave's decision is final. Zorn's tone brooked no further argument. This session is adjourned. May the stars guide us all through the coming storm. As the chamber emptied, Sarah felt a gentle touch on her arm. She turned to see Xandra, the avian representative from Altair Prime. The alien's feathers were ruffled in agitation. A dark day, my friend. Xandra warbled softly. I fear the Conclave's short-sightedness will doom us all. Sarah nodded grimly. They're so focused on containing the immediate threat that they can't see the bigger picture. This isn't just about Earth's colonies, if the Volux and the Centauri are left unchecked. Indeed, Xandra agreed. But take care, Commander Chen. I sense troubled times ahead for your people. The Conclave will be watching Earth closely. With a final sympathetic chirp, Xandra departed, leaving Sarah alone with her thoughts. She made her way to the secure communication center, her steps echoing in the now empty corridors of the Galactic Conclave's headquarters. Inside a private booth, Sarah activated the quantum entanglement communicator. After a series of encrypted handshakes, the stern face of Admiral Helena Graves appeared on the screen. Report, Commander, Graves said without preamble. Sarah took a deep breath. It's as we feared, Admiral. The Conclave has ordered universal non-intervention. We're to abandon the Outer Rim colonies and stay out of the conflict entirely. Graves' expression hardened. Unacceptable. Those are our people out there. Did you make it clear? I tried. Admiral, Sarah interrupted. They wouldn't hear it. Worse, they've singled out humanity specifically. They don't trust us not to complicate matters. A moment of heavy silence fell between them. Finally, Graves spoke, her voice low and determined. Then we'll have to take matters into our own hands. Return to Earth immediately, Commander. It's time for Operation Silverlight. Sarah's eyes widened. Admiral, you can't be serious. If the Conclave discovers, they've left us no choice. Graves cut her off. We swore an oath to protect our people, Commander. All of our people. The Conclave may be willing to sacrifice millions for their precious stability, but we are not. The implications of what Graves was suggesting made Sarah's head spin. Going against the Galactic Conclave's direct orders would make Earth a pariah in the interstellar community. But the alternative, abandoning millions of colonists to their fate, was unthinkable. Understood, Admiral, Sarah said, straightening her shoulders. I'm on my way. As the communication ended, Sarah leaned against the wall of the booth, the weight of what was to come settling over her. Humanity had worked so hard to earn its place among the stars, to be seen as a responsible member of the galactic community. Now, they were about to throw it all away in the name of protecting their own. But deep down, Sarah knew it was the right choice. Humanity had clawed its way out of its cradle through sheer determination and an unwavering spirit. They wouldn't abandon their own, no matter the cost. As she made her way to the spaceport, Sarah's mind raced with the challenges ahead. They would need to move quickly and quietly, evacuating the most vulnerable colonies while strengthening the defenses of those that could be saved, all while avoiding detection by the Conclave's vast intelligence network. It was an impossible task. But then again, humanity had a habit of making the impossible possible. The sleek diplomatic shuttle hummed to life as Sarah strapped herself in. As the vessel broke atmosphere, she took one last look at the glittering spires of the Conclave's capital world. The next time she saw this place, it would likely be as an enemy of galactic law. Coordinates set for Sol system, the ship's AI announced. Engaging FTL drive. Sarah closed her eyes as the stars blurred into streaks of light. Whatever came next, one thing was certain. The galaxy was about to learn that when it came to protecting their own, humans were a force to be reckoned with. Little did Sarah know that far beyond the reaches of known space, ancient eyes were opening. The Arcturus conflict and humanity's fateful decision were about to trigger a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The true war, one that had been lying dormant for millennia, was about to begin. And despite the Galactic Conclave's decree, humanity would find itself at the very heart of the coming storm. Operation Silverlight. The war room deep within Earth's Unified Defense Command was a hive of activity. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data from across the galaxy, painting a grim picture of the expanding conflict. Admiral Helena Graves stood at the center of the storm, her weathered face set in grim determination. Operation Silverlight is now in effect, she announced to the assembled staff. Our priority is the evacuation and fortification of our most vulnerable outer rim colonies. We move fast, we move quiet, and above all, we don't get caught. Commander Sarah Chen, freshly arrived from her journey back to Earth, felt a mix of anticipation and dread. Admiral, she said, what's our strategy for avoiding Conclave detection? Their monitoring systems are extensive. Graves nodded to a wiry man with unkempt hair and dark-circled eyes. Dr. Aiden Frost, head of our stealth tech division, has been working on something special. Doctor. Frost stepped forward, his fingers dancing across a holographic interface. We've developed a new cloaking system based on quantum entanglement principles. It doesn't just hide our ships from sensors. It makes them appear to be exactly where they're supposed to be. A murmur of excitement rippled through the room. This was game-changing technology. We're calling it the Phantom Protocol, Frost continued. It will allow our ships to operate in conclave space without detection. But there's a catch. The system can only maintain the illusion for 72 hours before needing a reset. Our window of operation will be tight." Admiral Graves turned to Sarah. "Commander Chen, your diplomatic experience makes you uniquely qualified to lead this mission. You'll be in command of the UES Nightshade, our most advanced stealth frigate." Sarah's heart raced. Command of a starship was a huge responsibility, especially under these circumstances. "I'm honored, Admiral. What's our first target?" A holographic star map zoomed in on a small, unremarkable system near the edge of human space. "Novus Prima," Graves said. "A mining colony with a population of 50,000. It's directly in the path of the Volux advance. Your job is to evacuate as many civilians as possible and destroy any tech we can't take with us. We can't let it fall into Volux hands." As the briefing continued, detailing the intricate dance of ships and personnel needed to pull off this audacious plan, Sarah's mind whirled with the enormity of the task ahead. They were about to defy the most powerful governing body in the galaxy to save a handful of colonies. The risks were enormous, but the alternative was unthinkable. Hours later, Sarah stood on the bridge of the UES Nightshade, marveling at the sleek design and advanced technology surrounding her. The ship hummed with barely contained power, eager to leap into the stars. "All systems are green," Commander, reported Lieutenant Zora Vega, the ship's young and brilliant tactical officer. "Phantom Protocol is engaged and stable. We're ready to depart on your order." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of command settle on her shoulders. "Take us out, Helm. Set course for Novus Prima. Maximum FTL." As the Nightshade slipped silently out of Earth's defense perimeter, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were embarking on a journey that would change the course of human history. The journey to Novus Prima was tense but uneventful. The Phantom Protocol worked flawlessly, allowing them to slip past conclave monitoring stations without a hint of detection. As they dropped out of FTL on the edge of the system, however, Sarah's blood ran cold. "Multiple contacts," Lieutenant Vega called out. "3 Volux warships in orbit around Novus Prima. They're not supposed to be here yet." Sarah's mind raced. The Volux were early, and now they were caught between their duty to the colonists and the risk of exposing Earth's defiance to the Conclave. "Options," she demanded. Dr. Frost, who had joined the mission to monitor the Phantom Protocol, spoke up. "We could use the mining facility's electromagnetic signature to mask our approach. It's risky, but it might get us close enough to start evacuations before the Volux realize we're here." Sarah nodded. "Do it. Helm, take us in." Lieutenant Vega, "Ready all point defense systems, but do not, I repeat, do not fire unless fired upon. We're here to save lives, not start a war." As the Nightshade descended through Novus Prima's turbulent atmosphere, Sarah opened a channel to the colony below. "This is Commander Chen of the UES Nightshade. We're here to evacuate. This is not a drill. Proceed to emergency gathering points immediately." The response was immediate and chaotic. Panicked voices flooded the comm channels as the reality of the situation set in. Sarah steeled herself for what was to come. This was the moment of truth. The next few hours were a blur of activity. Shuttles ferried colonists to the Nightshade and other stealth ships that had arrived as part of the operation. Sarah coordinated the efforts from the bridge, constantly watching for any sign that the Volux had detected their presence. They were nearly done, with over 40,000 colonists evacuated, when disaster struck. "Commander," Vega's voice was tight with alarm. "The Volux ships are powering weapons. They've detected us." Sarah's mind raced. They still had thousands of colonists on the surface. How long until they're in firing range? 3 minutes, maybe 4, Vega reported. It wasn't enough time. They couldn't abandon the remaining colonists, but engaging the Volux would expose Earth's intervention to the entire galaxy. In that moment, Sarah made a decision that would echo across the stars. "Lieutenant Vega, power up our main cannon. Target the lead Volux ship's propulsion systems. Dr. Frost, stand by to drop the Phantom Protocol on my mark." The bridge fell silent, the weight of what they were about to do hanging heavy in the air. "Commander," Frost said quietly, "if we do this, there's no going back. The Conclave will know." Sarah met his gaze steadily. "Sometimes you have to break the rules to do what's right, Doctor. Humanity won't stand idly by while innocents suffer. Not now, not ever." She turned back to the main view screen, watching as the Volux ships grew larger, their weapon systems glowing with building energy. "All hands," Sarah's voice rang out clear and determined. "Prepare for combat. Today, we show the galaxy what it means to stand with humanity." As the Nightshade systems hummed to life, shedding its cloak of invisibility, Sarah couldn't help but feel that this was more than just a rescue mission. It was the beginning of something much larger, a declaration to the stars that humanity would forge its own path, no matter the obstacles. The true war was about to begin, and humanity had just fired the first shot. The Ancient Awakening. The battle above Novus Primo was brief but intense. The UES Nightshade's advanced technology, combined with the element of surprise, allowed them to disable the Volux ships without destroying them. As the last of the colonists were evacuated, Sarah ordered a retreat, knowing that the repercussions of their actions would soon echo across the galaxy. But as they prepared to jump to FTL, something unexpected happened. The planet's surface began to glow with an eerie blue light, pulsing in complex patterns. "Commander," Dr. Frost called out, his voice filled with a mix of fear and excitement. "You need to see this." On the main screen, a massive structure was rising from beneath Novus Prima's surface, shedding layers of rock and soil as it emerged. It was clearly of alien origin, its architecture unlike anything in known space. "By the stars," Sarah whispered. "What is that?" Before anyone could respond, a beam of energy shot from the structure, engulfing the Nightshade in a field of shimmering light. Every system on the ship went dark, then came back online. But now strange symbols danced across the screens. A voice, ancient and powerful, resonated through the ship and in their minds. "The key has been turned. The sleepers awaken. The cycle begins anew." In that moment, Sarah realized they had stumbled upon something far greater than a simple colonial conflict. The artifact on Novus Primo was just the beginning. Part 4. Unlikely Alliances. In the days that followed, chaos erupted across the galaxy. Similar structures were awakening on planets throughout known space, affecting ships and communication systems. The Arcturus conflict was forgotten as both the Volux and Centauri found their mighty fleets rendered useless by the ancient technology. The Galactic Conclave, in a panic, called an emergency session. Sarah, now a symbol of human defiance and ingenuity, was summoned to testify. Standing before the same assembly that had dismissed humanity, she now held their rapt attention. "The threat we face is beyond any single species," Sarah declared. "These artifacts, this awakening, it's clear now that they are part of a system created by a long-vanished race. A race that faced a threat so great, they built this as a last resort. We need to stand together, or we will fall divided." Her words, broadcast across the galaxy, sparked a change. Old enmities were set aside as the severity of the situation became clear. The Volux, the Centauri, and dozens of other races looked to humanity, the upstarts who had defied the odds, for leadership. Admiral Graves, speaking from Earth, outlined a daring plan. "We've learned to interface with the artifact's technology. We believe we can use it to create a defensive network against whatever's coming. But we'll need every race, every ship, every brilliant mind working together to make it happen." As the galaxy mobilized, Sarah found herself working alongside former enemies. Xandra, the Altair representative who had warned her, became a close ally. Even the Volux admiral whose ship she had disabled joined their cause, recognizing the greater threat. Together, they raced against time, decoding the artifact's warnings and preparing for a war unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. The final stand. The threat, when it came, was more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. The Harvesters, as they came to be known, were a race of machine intelligences that consumed entire worlds to fuel their expansion. They had wiped out the precursors, the race that built the artifacts, eons ago. Now they had returned to finish their work. The united fleets of the galaxy, led by humanity's innovative tactics and technology, met the harvesters in the void between stars. The battle was epic in scale, with thousands of ships clashing amidst the light of dying suns. Sarah, commanding the Nightshade at the heart of the fleet, coordinated the defense. The plan was audacious: use the artifacts to create a massive energy field that would trap and destroy the Harvester Armada. As the battle raged, with losses mounting on both sides, Sarah made a fateful decision. "We need to take the fight to their command ship," she announced. "A small team, using our Phantom Protocol, might be able to slip through and activate the trap from within." It was a suicide mission, and Sarah knew it. But as she had learned on Novus Prima, sometimes breaking the rules and taking the biggest risks led to the greatest rewards. The infiltration was harrowing, a desperate fight through the alien geometries of the Harvester worldship. Sarah, along with a diverse team of allies from across the galaxy, fought their way to the central core. In the final chamber, as they worked to overload the Harvester systems and spring their trap, Sarah found herself face to face with the Harvester intelligence. It was ancient, cold, and utterly alien. "Why?" Sarah demanded, even as her team worked frantically behind her. "Why destroy everything?" The response came not in words, but in a flood of images and emotions. A universe of endless hunger, of consumption as the only path to survival. For a moment, Sarah felt a flicker of pity for these beings who knew nothing but the drive to devour. But in that connection, Sarah also found their weakness. "You forgot how to create," she realized. "You only know how to destroy. That's why you'll lose. We, all of us together, we create. We build. We grow." With a surge of effort, Sarah and her team activated the trap. The artifact network sprang to life, connecting across vast distances to create a web of energy that engulfed the Harvester fleet. As the Harvester ships began to disintegrate, their ancient intelligence faced with final destruction, Sarah felt a last, grudging acknowledgement. Humanity, in all its chaotic creativity, had done what the precursors could not. The threat was ended. The galaxy was saved. In the aftermath, as the various races began the long process of rebuilding, humanity found itself in a new position. No longer the upstart newcomers, they were now seen as leaders, innovators, the spark that had united the galaxy in its darkest hour. Sarah, standing on the observation deck of the Nightshade and looking out at the stars, felt the weight of all that had happened. They had broken rules, defied orders, and risked everything. But in doing so, they had stayed true to the core of what humanity was: adaptable, determined, and unwilling to abandon those in need. As ships from 100 worlds moved past, rebuilding and strengthening the bonds forged in battle, Sarah smiled. The universe had told humans to stay clear of this war. Instead, they had dived in headfirst and emerged as its saviors. Whatever challenges the future held, humanity had proven it was ready to face them. Together with their new allies, they would forge a path to the stars that no one could have predicted. The universe had spoken, and humanity had answered.